Have you ever wondered if the way your muscles feel today could be quietly warning you about your health tomorrow? What if a simple ache, a little weakness, or a habit you barely notice is actually your body's way of sending a silent message? One that's easy to miss, especially after 60. If you're in this special stage of life where you care deeply for someone who is, know that you're not alone. Every year, more people realize how much small choices and little details matter as the years go by. This conversation is for you, and it comes from a place of care, not criticism. Today, you'll discover insights that go beyond what a standard checkup might reveal. I'll share real, practical information that can bring a new sense of hope and help you take action that truly makes a difference. Sometimes it's not about what the doctor says, but about what your own body is quietly whispering each day. Before we dive in, I'd love to know, where are you watching from? Drop your location in the comments below. It always amazes me to see how many people from so many different places are part of this caring community. Now let's begin. Pay close attention, because the very first sign might be hiding in the way you move right now without a sound. Folding laundry tells a story. Have you ever noticed how folding laundry feels different these days? Not just the chore itself, but the way your hands move, the ease with which you flip a towel or smooth out a shirt. This small task, so often overlooked, can quietly reveal early changes in our fine motor skills and hand strength. It's like a hidden language your body uses to tell you how your muscles and nerves are doing, long before a doctor ever mentions it. Imagine Helen, 74, who one afternoon realized she was fumbling with her favorite sweater, unable to fold it neatly. Instead of brushing it off, she paused and started noticing how her fingers sometimes trembled or gripped things more tightly than before. She brought a basket of clean towels to her table every day, taking her time, practicing each fold with purpose. Gradually, she noticed more control returning, a quiet confidence growing as she handled each item. Then there's Samuel, 82, who used to rush through folding, ignoring how often socks slipped from his grasp or how buttons felt more stubborn. For him, the frustration built slowly, first with laundry, then with his morning shirt, and finally, even holding a fork felt tiring. Each small struggle chipped away at his sense of independence, leaving him feeling more reliant on others for what once felt easy. If you ignore what your hands are saying, you may find yourself feeling more fatigued, dropping things unexpectedly, or struggling to manage buttons, utensils, and even your favorite hobbies. Everyday moments can become sources of frustration or embarrassment, quietly eroding your confidence and independence. But small, daily actions can help. Try picking up coins or buttons and moving them between your fingers. Squeeze a softball for a few minutes while watching TV. Or use clothespins to strengthen your grip, one pinch at a time. These tiny exercises can gently rebuild the strength and control you need for daily tasks. And if your hands are starting to tell you a new story, what else might your body be trying to say just beneath the surface? Sometimes it's not only the muscles that speak, it's the quiet feelings you can't quite put into words. Losing track of small moments, sometimes the subtle changes aren't in our muscles or our hands. They slip quietly into our minds. Maybe you notice yourself forgetting where you left your keys, or you walk into a room and can't recall why. You might laugh it off, blaming age or a busy day. But if these little lapses become a pattern, missing appointments, repeating the same question, or dodging conversations out of embarrassment, they can reveal a deeper shift inside. Often, these moments carry a hidden weight, a flicker of irritation, a quiet shame, or a growing wish to just avoid the situation altogether. Take Ruth, who's 74. She started keeping a small notebook by the phone after missing a lunch date with her granddaughter. Instead of sinking into self-doubt, she began jotting down reminders and, with gentle persistence, turned these notes into a form of self-kindness. Each checkmark felt like a small victory, and soon, her confidence returned bit by bit. In contrast, there's Leonard, age 80. At first, he shrugged off his forgetfulness as nothing. But when he found himself withdrawing from family game nights, afraid he'd mix up the rules or repeat himself, He slipped quietly into the background, conversation by conversation, week by week. When we ignore these signs, they can slowly steal away our sense of self. The world feels a little smaller, and the joy of connecting with others dims. Confidence fades, and isolation grows. But it doesn't have to be this way. Simple habits, a daily crossword, a shared puzzle, or even writing reminders on a whiteboard can gently keep the mind engaged. These practices are not just tasks, but small acts of hope. But what if the real fatigue isn't in your memory, but in your body's ability to recover? Let's look at what may be happening beneath the surface, even in moments of rest. When rest doesn't restore the hidden weight of unrefreshing sleep, there's a kind of tiredness that lingers, even after a full night's sleep. It's not the ache after a long walk or the heaviness from a busy day. This is the fatigue that seeps deeper, a sense that no matter how early you go to bed, you wake up already worn out. When rest doesn't restore, it's as if your body has forgotten how to recharge. You lay down, close your eyes, sleep comes and goes, but the morning finds you just as weary as before. This isn't just about being sleepy. It's about your body missing the signals that it needs to heal, recover, and rebuild from the inside out. For some, this invisible exhaustion is a quiet warning. It can mean your muscles aren't repairing, your mind isn't resetting, and your spirit isn't finding the pause it needs. It might be hormones shifting or just the natural where that comes with time. But the effect is real. The world feels heavier. Motivation slips away. Moments blur together. You slept, but you didn't recharge. Consider Evelyn and George, both in their late 70s. Evelyn has always protected her rest. She keeps a gentle routine, dimming the lights after dinner, a warm cup of tea, soft music, and no screens before bed. Sleep is her ritual. Each morning, she rises with a quiet sense of clarity and energy, never rushed, rarely irritable, present for the day ahead. George, on the other hand, laughs off his tiredness. He naps when the mood strikes, falls asleep in front of the TV, and scrolls through his phone late into the night. Mornings for him are foggy. He's forgetful, sometimes short-tempered, and feels disconnected from the world around him. Over time, this gap widens. Poor, unrefreshing rest weakens the body's defenses. Muscles don't recover. The mind grows weary. Emotions fray, and life feels harder than it should. Yet, it doesn't have to be this way. Noticing the signs, even if they're subtle, can change everything. A simple habit, going to bed at the same time each night, turning off bright screens an hour before sleep, or taking a gentle walk in the morning sunlight, can help reset your body's rhythm and bring back a sense of renewal. Rest is more than just sleep. It's how you care for yourself when no one is watching. And while sleep restores the body, what happens when appetite begins to fade too? Stay with us, because there's more to uncover about the quiet signals your body sends, and how to answer them with kindness. When mealtime loses its sparkle, maybe you've noticed it's just not as exciting to sit down for lunch, or that you're making the same simple sandwich day after day. The kitchen feels quiet, and the food on your plate is more about filling space than feeding your spirit. Sometimes you even forget to eat, or you only realize you skipped a meal when you feel tired. It might seem harmless at first, but losing interest in food can be a quiet signal from your body and heart. The truth is, meals are more than something to check off our list. They're moments of comfort, connection, and strength. When we stop caring about what or when we eat, we can slowly lose the energy our muscles need. We might find ourselves weaker, more tired, or less interested in the things we used to love. Eating isn't just about fuel. It's about feeling alive, savoring flavors, and sharing small joys. Take Irene, who is 78. Every morning, she puts a little effort into breakfast, maybe adding a slice of fresh fruit or sitting by the window with her tea. Even on quiet days, she keeps her mealtime routines and notices how it lifts her mood. Across town, Walter, 82, has drifted into eating the same toast every day, sometimes skipping lunch altogether. He doesn't notice how the days blend together or how his hands feel just a bit weaker when he opens a jar. Over time, letting meals become dull or forgetting to eat can leave us feeling drained, both in body and spirit. Sometimes, when the plate stays full, the body begins to empty, slowly and silently. But it doesn't take much to bring back the joy. Try eating at the same time each day, or add something colorful and familiar to your plate. Drinking a glass of water with every meal or inviting a neighbor for coffee can make a world of difference. Because food is not just for the body. It's a gentle reminder that we are here, and that every shared meal is a chance to feel a little brighter. When days go by without real conversations sometimes, the most dangerous sign isn't something you can see in the mirror or measure on a scale. It's the slow stretch of days without a real conversation, when no one asks how you're really doing and you forget how your own laughter sounds. This kind of quiet can settle in gently, but it reaches deep, touching how you move, how you think, even how you heal. When you start to drift from others, your body and mind can begin to drift too. Motivation fades, memory blurs, aches feel heavier, and your energy wanes. It's not just about feeling lonely, it's about slowly stepping back from life itself, often without noticing. Picture Margaret, who, at 74, makes it a habit to call her sister every Tuesday morning. Sometimes they chat about their favorite shows, other times about nothing at all, but the voices warm her kitchen. She joins her neighbor for short walks, and when she sits for coffee, someone always shares a story. Next door, Henry, 81, hasn't spoken to anyone in days. He reads alone, turns on the TV for company, and eats in silence. The quiet in his apartment grows thicker each week, and with it, his world seems to shrink. Less laughter, less clarity, less reason to move. Over time, this kind of isolation nudges people towards sadness, slower thinking, and weaker bodies. Even the immune system can lose its spark. When no one notices you, it's easy for the parts that make you feel alive to fade away quietly. But breaking this pattern doesn't have to be big or brave. Call someone you care about, even if it's just once a week. Say hello to a neighbor, or send a simple message to an old friend. Tiny gestures can bring warmth back into a day and remind your body and mind that you still belong. Because if silence can quietly weaken the spirit, imagine what might happen when the body itself starts to send a warning that can't be ignored. The ache of invisible distance. Sometimes, the sharpest pain isn't in your back or your knees. It's in the empty chair across from you, the silence after a meal, or the weight of days without a single warm word. This is the ache of invisible distance, the quiet but powerful sign that your connections are fading. It's often overlooked, but your body and mind notice every absence, every missed conversation, every hug that doesn't come. When loneliness settles in, it quietly reshapes your health. Science shows that isolation can be as harmful as a chronic illness. The heart feels heavier. The mind becomes slower. Even your muscles and bones lose their strength when days pass in silence. Stress levels rise, memory falters, and the body's defenses weaken. When affection is scarce and laughter rare, the body starts to close in on itself. Energy fades, motivation slips away, and life itself can feel smaller. Let me show you this in two lives. Mary starts her morning calling her sister, sharing a laugh over coffee. She joins a small group at the park twice a week, even if it's just to chat about the weather. Her eyes are brighter, her steps lighter, and her memory sharpens with every story told and heard. Across town, Joseph brews coffee for one. He eats lunch alone, the television his only companion. Days blur together. He feels tired, forgetful, and heavy-hearted. Even his appetite disappears. One cup, two lives, one filled with quiet connection, the other with isolating silence. Over time, the consequences grow. Emotional isolation can lead to depression, sap your willpower, and make memory lapses more frequent. The immune system suffers. The sense of purpose slips away. The body begins to shut down, slowly, quietly. This happens to many people, but it can be reversed. Start small. Send a message to someone you miss. Join a conversation, even online. Make a tiny ritual, one weekly phone call, or a shared cup of tea over video. Sometimes, a 5-minute chat is enough to bring color and warmth back into your day. And as you nurture your heart and mind, remember, the next sign can show up in the way you move, the steadiness of your balance, or the ease of your breath. Because when the silence outside meets the fatigue within, the body itself starts to stumble. The quiet wobble, a stumble here, a misstep there. Maybe you brush it off as nothing. But what if these quiet wobbles are actually your body's way of sending an early warning? When you find yourself reaching for the railing more often, feeling unsteady on a curb, or taking that extra moment before climbing the stairs, it's not just about distraction or clumsiness. These small slips and moments of imbalance are often the first signs that muscles, nerves, or posture are losing their strength behind the scenes. Left unnoticed, this instability can lead to serious falls, fractures, and a sudden loss of independence, the kind that changes daily life in a heartbeat. Helen noticed she was slipping more on the kitchen tiles in her socks, so she started doing simple balance exercises every morning, using the back of a chair for support. It felt awkward at first, but soon, she walked with more confidence, even in the dark. Meanwhile, her neighbor George laughed off his occasional stumbles as just getting older. He didn't see the danger until he tripped on the stairs, broke his ankle, and found himself relying on others for weeks, wishing he'd paid attention sooner. Ignoring these early signs doesn't just mean risking a bruise or two. One bad fall can mean months in recovery, a hospital stay, or feeling afraid to leave the house. That's why practicing balance, like walking slowly in a straight line or standing on one foot while holding onto a sturdy chair, can make all the difference. Just 5 minutes a day can protect your freedom for years to come. So if your steps feel a bit less certain, know that your body is speaking up before things become serious. And if the body has already shown where it is fragile, imagine what other stories might be unfolding inside. Quiet warnings that we feel but can't yet name. What your heart still holds on to sometimes. It is not the passage of years that burdens us, but the silent weight of what remains unspoken within. Old regrets, words we wished we had said, pains we tucked away out of pride or fear. These are the gentle anchors that the soul quietly carries. The body, ever faithful, remembers what the heart tries to forget. When emotions linger unresolved, the tension seeps into our nerves, our sleep, our energy. You may notice your shoulders grow tighter, your breath shallower, your days losing color. It's not a failure. It's a sign that something inside asks for release, for kindness, for space to heal. Consider Evelyn, who has spent decades keeping her disappointments and silent griefs neatly folded away. She finds herself restless at night, prone to aches that have no name, and a weariness that coffee cannot chase away. Her laughter has grown rare, and she often feels as though a quiet fog has settled over her spirit. In contrast, there is Samuel, who one day decided to write a letter to his younger self, pouring out everything he had never voiced. He spoke with an old friend, allowed tears to come, and found moments each day to simply sit and listen to his heart without judgment. His sleep grew deeper, his steps lighter, his outlook touched by a gentle hopefulness that had been missing for years. When we ignore the quiet ache within, we risk a kind of aging that touches more than the body. Our energy dims, our hearts close, and we drift toward isolation. It is as if a locked heart prevents the body from truly breathing. But there's always a way back to ourselves. You might start by writing down what still lingers inside, or practicing forgiveness, even silently, just for your own peace. A simple moment of prayer or a trusted conversation can become a doorway to lightness. Remember, letting go is a gift we offer ourselves, an act of compassion, not erasure. And as the heart softens, the body, too, learns to move through life with greater ease. Yet, in this gentle clearing, a question remains. What purpose still stirs quietly within you, waiting to be lived? Today, you had the chance to look inside, with your eyes, with your heart, and perhaps with a new sense of curiosity. Everything we explored together, from those subtle signals in your body to the quiet whispers of your emotions, is not a sentence or a diagnosis. Instead, they are gentle invitations to pause, to listen, and to care. Every detail, whether it's a forgotten name, a missed step, or a lingering sadness, can light the way to a longer, fuller life. It's not about fear, but about awareness. It's about realizing that your story is still being written, and every page can be richer if you pay attention to what your body and mind are telling you. I invite you now to take a moment for yourself. Notice your own rhythm, the pace you walk, the foods you crave, the feelings you carry, and the people you reach out to or withdraw from. True change doesn't demand a revolution overnight. It starts with a single, mindful step. Choosing a healthier meal, taking a short walk, calling a friend, or simply breathing in silence for a few minutes. These small gestures are not just possible, they are powerful. They are within your reach right now. Thank you for staying with me until this moment. Your presence here is not just a click or a view. It's a real commitment to yourself and to those you care about. That willingness to learn, to reflect, and to seek better days is a true sign of respect for your own story. I'm deeply grateful for your trust and your time. If what you heard resonated with you, I warmly invite you to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Here, each video is crafted as a reminder that self-care is not a luxury. It's a path to a conscious, vibrant life. Let's stay connected and continue this journey together. And remember, it's not time that ages your muscles and spirit. It's the silence when your life asks for care. Listen to your body, honor your feelings, and take action. Your future is still being shaped by what you choose today. There is still time to make it the best chapter yet.